It's time for the Sterling Radio Showcase. Brought to you by Sterling Family Products. For products that fit your lifestyle, our quality is Sterling. Tonight, a thrilling case from the files of Eddie Abel, Private Eye. Episode 16 of our continuing serial, The Space Battalion of Justice. Music from the Sterling Radio Orchestra, led by Jimmy Hancock. The Sterling Jingle Singers. And through it all, you'll have me, your host, Dale McPhail. So stay tuned for your favorite weekly entertainment on the Sterling Radio Showcase. But first, Sterling Family Products, makers of healthy and convenient innovations, offers this public message. Science marches on. Brought to you by Sterling Family Pharmaceuticals. So, you live in a big city and you think you have it pretty much all figured out. Today, the number of options available for dealing with societal pressures have increased tenfold. Headache medicines, antacids, deodorants, detergents, and breath mints have made urban living nearly bearable. But now, from the laboratories that will not spare a lab rat in the pursuit of total sensory relief, comes our newest weapon in the war on atmospheric pollutants, Naseway. Here's Dr. Charles Trenchfoot of Sterling Laboratories.
Thank you, Dale. Naseway represents a significant advancement in that instead of wasteful treatments to decrease pollutants in the air, we apply a more efficient method that decreases your olfactory sensitivity. No more concern need be made of entering public facilities, nor should world travel anymore represent a blitzkrieg against your nose.
I'd like a round-trip ticket to Bombay, please.
Sir, you do realize that city is in a very smelly country.
No problem for me. I've got Naseway.
Naseway simply numbs the nasal palate to rid your life of the nasty inconvenience of detecting others' deficiencies in personal bodily decorum. Large public gatherings need no longer insult your sense of smell. Here's a testimonial.
I used to dread changing Junior's diapers. As a young mom, I have lots of responsibilities and no time for watery eyes or nausea to slow me down. Now I just use Naseway, and clean up is a breeze instead of a foul wind. Thanks, Naseway.
Naseway is available in nasal sprays and nose drops. Properly applied, you can limit your olfactory wellness or blissfully negate your sense of smell completely for however many applications you wish.
From pills for your head to creams when you're red, our qualities. Sterling.
Makers of fine pharmaceuticals.
Naseway is not responsible for any flowers missed while under the influence of this product. And now, Sterling Family Products presents another case from the files of Eddie Abel, Private Eye. This week, no restroom for the wicked.
It was another dreary Kansas City morning. The barometer was dropping faster than my bank balance. I awoke to the sound of my own drool collecting in a puddle on my ink blotter. I'd fallen asleep in my office again. My name's Abel. Eddie Abel. I'm a private eye. I tried to stand, but the crick in my neck and the cobwebs in my brain formed a tight cadre of conspiracy, and I crumpled, hungover, to the floor. Darned floor was in on it, too. When my vision cleared, I looked around my shabby office. It seemed my brain wasn't the only thing covered with cobwebs. I hadn't had a case in months. I needed work. I settled for another stiff drink. They say opportunity knocks only once. For the sake of my throbbing head, I hoped it was true. Come on in, the lock's busted.
I'm looking for a man who's able.
I told myself I'd take out the next one that made that joke. But this one I wanted to take out to a cheap motel with heart-shaped gel beds. It was a dame. One look at her dress and I knew it was spring. June was busting out all over. She had better curves than a relief pitcher in the playoffs and a face like an angel. A very naughty angel. As she smoothed her jet black hair, I smoothed the front of my pants and tried to look nonchalant. But she could see I was chalant. Very chalant. I'm Abel.
I hope so. I'm desperate for help.
Well, take a seat, ma'am, and tell me your troubles.
My name's Olivia Andrews. Perhaps you heard of my father, Archibald Andrews, the rubber band baron? I know most people think he's a great man, but he has a terrible problem with gambling. He loses. Our entire rubber fortune is almost gone. Daddy's been bouncing checks all over town. He'll probably lose the factory and then the house. Worst of all, he won't tell me who's holding his markers. Oh, Mr. Abel.
Call me Eddie.
Eddie? It's just too much for the sweet, innocent daughter of a rubber band tycoon to bear. I'm at the breaking point. I might snap.
I tell you what, Miss Andrews.
Please, it's Olivia.
Olivia, a rubber band case is a bit of a stretch for me. But if you can pay me for the day, maybe I can talk to your father and try and ease the tension.
Oh, Eddie, name your price and I'll pay it gladly.
Several prices came to mind, but out of politeness, I asked for money. She agreed and produced cash from a purse as red as her lips. She stood up to leave. But I had one more question. Olivia, I gotta know. Why me? Why'd you choose a broken-down two-bit snoop for hire like Eddie Abel?
You were the first in the phone book, Mr. Abel.
She left the office, but not my mind. I kept wondering why a dame with her assets didn't have any friends to turn to. The answers lay ahead of me. Unfortunately, I had to take the city bus to reach them. When I got to the Andrews home in the ritzy section of town, I got a bad feeling that had nothing to do with the 3-day-old Knish I ate for breakfast. But I ignored my instincts, as I usually would when I was working for cash clients. I tucked in my shirt tail and dragged an old comb through my hair, readying myself to talk to the famed rubber band baron. The house was big, all right, and fancy enough for any Kansas City bigwig. Before I could knock, I got another bad feeling. The door was open. At once, I made two decisions. One, investigate. And two, ask Olivia for more money. I drew my .38 and searched the rubber house until I found Andrew's office. It was easy enough to find. I just followed the sounds of someone being strangled. The door was ajar. I ran in just in time to experience the equivalent of being saved from whiplash by a brick headrest. Someone wanted me unconscious. I obliged.
Eddie, can you hear me?
I could hear her. It was Marion, a temp who sorted my files in better times. She was a farm girl with a heart of gold and hair to match. She had this crazy, cockeyed idea that she was in love with me. Sweet kid. The big city hadn't changed her either. No, sir, she could still teach the sun to shine. I used all my strength and opened my eyes. I was still in Andrew's office, with my head in Marion's lap. The place was lousy with police. I was in trouble. Is that you, kid?
It's me, Eddie. I was so worried. Are you all right?
Well, dollface, I got a bump on my head that might show up on a topographical map, but I'll probably live. Did the police call you?
No, I went by your office. You weren't there, but I noticed your gun was gone, and I found a rubber band on your desk. I put two and two together.
Makes sense.
Eddie, you should run for it. Andrews is dead, and the cops think you did it. I'll create a diversion. Should I take off my top or set Andrew's desk on fire?
You crazy cockeyed kid. You're probably in enough trouble as it is. When are you going to realize you're not in Kansas anymore?
Eddie, we're in Missouri.
Go back to your folks before this town tears you apart.
I had breakfast in Kansas before commuting.
Can't you see I'm poison?
The bus took less than 10 minutes.
Well. Ain't this a cozy picture? Eddie Abel, the murderous private dick, and his sick, sadistic gun maul. Yeah, very cozy indeed.
I would have known that penchant for sarcasm anywhere. It was Lieutenant Frank Willing, a plainclothes lawman. We'd fought together in the war. Real buddies then. Even shared his last cigarette with me before we stormed the beach at Saint-Tropez. Of course, that was shore-leave, not a battle, but it still meant a lot to me. When we got back stateside, he wanted me to join the force, but I wanted to be a private snoop. He never forgave me for that. Thought I'd betrayed our friendship in the American way. Now, whenever we crossed paths, he looked for a way to ruin me. If only he'd open his beady little cop eyes, he'd see that me and Ruin are next-door neighbors.
Leave him alone, Lieutenant. Can't you see he's been hurt?
Hey, stay out of this, Miss Nakrim
Pujaranchit.
Huh?
That's how it's pronounced. Marion Nakrim Pujaranchit. My father's from Bangladesh.
And your mother?
Scotch-Irish.
Just do what I do, Frank. Call her Kid or Dollface or Powder Puff. It's much easier, trust me.
Or you could call me Marion.
Miss, I think you'd better get back home before this Titanic of a private eye drags you down with him.
Fine, Lieutenant. Call me Eddie.
I'll be in touch, Sweet Peach. Take a powder.
All right, Eddie. Listen up and listen good. I don't trust you any further than I could spit you. You're up to your neck in dog mess, and just might find yourself charged with murder 1. And since this is an official questioning of a suspect by an investigating officer, I suggest you refer to me as Lieutenant. Now, give me the skinny on this rubber band barren body.
How can I explain it? I can't even say it.
Don't crack wise with me, suspect. You're in hot tamales.
Ease up on the gas, 00 Donut. You're cheesing me lemony. I just caught the bus to Fancy Town today. Never even got to meet fat, dead Papa Andrews before he went toes up in his rubber office, see?
Oh, yeah? Well, bounce this off your trampoline and measure its hang time. You're on the short list for the long haul, got it? Don't leave town, or every lawman, G-man, and milkman in the U.S. of A. will be on you like fat on an opera singer.
I'm weeping in my oatmeal, Flatfoot. You've got as much evidence as Churchill has hair. You'll need a slick toupee to send me up that river.
Deadbeat.
Flatfoot.
Gold brick.
Tin Star.
Culprit.
Railroader.
Beat it, Abel. But don't leave town. You'll be needed for more questioning at Police HQ.
You don't have to worry. I'm off this case. It's more trouble than I need for $8 a day plus expenses. Say, can I use the can before I make tracks?
What for?
The usual.
Negatory, wiseacre. The whole joint's a crime scene.
On the bus back to town, I created a more gruesome crime scene in my BVDs. I hadn't chafed that badly since my scuba lessons for the Navy frogmen. I reached the office to find my ex-client seated and finishing her cigarette with little care or worry to what may have befallen Daddy. Your father no longer has a gambling problem. In fact, all his problems are over.
He's come to his senses?
He's gone to his maker.
No. How? Why? Where?
Strangled. Don't know. His office. Also, I regret to inform you that I'm off the case. No, I take that back. I don't regret it.
But Mr. Abel... Eddie, I need you. Now more than ever. I want his killer brought to justice.
I'm already a suspect by one lieutenant's thinking. I can't be involved in an active case. One of those rules of the jungle.
Eddie, don't you want to clear your good name? I care for you, Eddie, and I want my father avenged. I'll even double your usual rate.
$16 a day? I thought your family was short on cabbage because of the gambling.
Oh, a smart girl always has something tucked away.
From the looks of things, it was all tucked away in the front of her dress. She filled out her outfit better than a hungry immigrant fills out his green card. All right, but I need to know more about dead Daddy. Can you think of anybody who might want him dead? Anywhere he might have snuck off to late at night? Any male concubines, drug dens, loan sharks? I gotta have a lead, and it's gotta be seedy.
Very well, if you must know. I think you may find someone who can help you at the Chaise Lounge.
A brothel?
Cafe bar, actually. Oh, Eddie, I just know you'll find what you're looking for. You're the best.
I'd heard of the Chase Lounge, but always been afraid to go there. Now, don't figure me for yellow. I could go to the worst parts of town, rub elbows with roughnecks, beat the snot out of the toughest guys there, and think nothing of it. But at that lounge, I would have to face my worst fear. Beatniks. It was worse than I dreamed. But I thought of my $16 plus expenses, mustered all my courage, and pushed my way through a dense thicket of turtlenecks, lattes, and attitude to get to the bar.
What are you digging on, ham steak?
Come again?
What's your Java preference, pork rind?
Listen, you emaciated drug addict, I'm no cop and I don't want to be here any more than you or your pervert poet wannabes want me to be here. So cut your hustle and jive to the bare men. Pour me a cup of Strong Joe, black, and talk turkey with me. Or I'll use your hide to make my own bongos. Dig?
Let me guess. This is your first time here.
Yeah.
And thus, free spirit artists and poets jam your frequency? Make you a little nervous?
Yeah, that's true.
Happens all the time. Sorry about the cop cracks, it's just that the squares all look alike to us. We gotta stay on our toes, dig? Now, unless I miss my guess, you need to rap heavy about a stitch, or you coulda, never woulda, never set your feet walking into the chase. Am I right?
Well, Yes, actually, I did want to...
Let me get you a primo Java. This one's on me.
Eddie Abel.
Lake Road.
Daddy-o.
This L7 needs a dopey-o dig, and bring yourself on around with it.
Gee, you beatniks are a lot more gracious than anybody prepared me for.
Hey, man. We just hate society, not people.
Fair enough.
And Dante, what's with the side of bacon?
Don't skip a groove, brother. This ain't no pig, this is Eddie. And unless I mistake his neutral color trench coat and his frayed nerves, he's some kind of snoop on a case. Eddie, this is a leg roll. And you can call me Andante.
Boy, that's great coffee. Italian?
No, Scotch-Irish. We just dig the names because we dig the music, see?
Look, you boys seem nice, but I don't have time for pleasantries. You ever seen or heard of a man named Archibald Andrews, the rubber band baron?
No, man. I don't think so.
Does he write verse, blow sax, or pour Java?
Actually, he's an L7, on the fat side. Rich. I've been told he might have come in here. Does anybody in this coffee clutch make book?
Yo, Andante, I told you he's a cop. Listen, Knock, this joint is clean, yo. There was a bookie giving odds and taking wagers from one of our tables, but we put him on the skids, see? Now that I think about it, there was some fat wallet uptights on the scene back then, right, Andante? Mm-hmm. Maybe your boy Andrews was one of them.
Look who's all up in his brain today. Yo, slide me some skin legs.
Do you know where this bookie operates out of now?
Word is he's up late nights at the factory, up on the cliff, over the river.
Boys, I want to thank you. If you ever need any kind of help, just come to my office in town. Catch you on the flip side?
Sure thing, baby.
Anytime, dude.
Nice boys. They sure had put me on the right track, too. There was only one factory up on the cliff over the river, the Andrews Rubber Band Factory. Whoever had been making book at the Chase probably needed a new front after getting put out on the street. With Andrews deep in the red, he couldn't have said no to the man holding his marker. But who? Who did Andrews owe? Who could make an honest rubber band man turn his factory into a casino? It was time to snoop. I caught the first bus to the edge of town. By the time I got there, it was plenty dark. By all rights, I should have been asleep, but the espresso had me wired like the telephone company. The factory was closed for the night, and the solitary guard at the front entrance wasn't going to keep an old crime dog like me out. I found a back entrance, jimmied the lock, and started snooping. I made my way to Andrew's private office. That office had seen better days. All over the place, there were ashtrays piled high with butts, and the room smelled of stale smoke, cheap whiskey, and crushed hopes. But there was another smell, one I couldn't quite make out. I had just put my finger on it when suddenly the door swang open.
I kill you!
Who the heck are you, you fez-wearing maniac?
No, less talking, more killing!
Now listen to me, you bug-eyed, rumple-faced, thick-accented loon. This is America. Before we get down to the business of killing each other, we gotta exchange names like civilized people.
Fine. I am the Fez.
Name's Abel. Eddie Abel.
Back to killing! Wait. Did you say Eddie Abel?
Yes?
You poor bastard. I almost feel bad for you.
Why? What do you mean? Who are you working for? What do you know about me?
Oh, nothing. You're just being led to the slaughter is all.
What?
You're being set up. You're a patsy, see?
What do you mean?
You're a sacrificial lamb, a scapegoat, a person who is absolutely innocent yet being blamed for everything.
Explain yourself.
I can't. Oh, I may have said too much already.
Now listen to me, you hunchbacked henchman. I came for answers, not for some song and dance. So make with the talking, or you'll be eating fish Kiev for dinner. Who do you work for?
My boss.
Who's that?
The guy I work for.
What's his name?
The word everybody uses to call him. All right. But he'll kill me if I name him. Oh, I'm a marked man.
That's a touching good story. Now sing.
I thought you didn't want a song and dance.
Boy, are you evasive.
I made an A in rhetoric at Cambridge.
Spell!
All right, I'll tell you. The man you need to speak to is...
Yes? As the cool, soft blanket of unconsciousness wrapped around my battered skull, it felt like a familiar friend. Too familiar. And so was landing on the floor. For the second time that day, somebody had played Tito Puente on my head. But this time, I wouldn't wake up with my head in Sweet Marion's lap. No, this time I found myself hanging over a raging river from a branch on the only cliff in all of Kansas City, Missouri. The only thing holding me up was my will to live and a rope of rubber bands. Tough to tell which would give out first. I hoped it wouldn't be my bladder.
Is this how Eddie meets his untimely demise? Stay tuned to hear more from Eddie Abel, Private Eye, on the Sterling Radio Showcase. More great family fun coming up right after this.
How's my little Julie, Doctor? Will she live?
She'll pull through, Mr. Landers, this time. But a growing girl her age has to eat a balanced diet.
But, Doctor, what can I do? She loves breakfast cereal, but she just won't eat her bacon. What can I do?
It's a familiar situation. If your family's like mine, good nutrition is always an issue. Doctors agree that the way to stay healthy is to include lots of pork in your daily diet. And so, Sterling Mills, a division of Sterling Family Products, includes Pork Flakes, a new breakfast cereal with a great taste of pork. Yes, Pork Flakes. It comes in 2 great flavors, original and smoked, and combined with milk, toast, and juice, forms a completely nutritious breakfast. One serving has all the protein of a T-bone steak, and it never loses its crispy, crunchy goodness, and its flavor mellows in your bowl. Plus, there are a variety of ways to enjoy Pork Flakes. Try it with applesauce for a familiar flavor. Hungry after school? Pork Flakes are great for snacking. And on cold winter mornings, nothing can beat a hearty bowl of Pork Flakes warm with milk and molasses. Also check the box for terrific recipe ideas like crispy pork flakes fried chicken, apple sage pork stuffing. For kids and kids at heart, marshmallow pork flake treats. Pork flakes can also be crumbled over salad. And don't forget to look at the great cereals from Sterling Mills, like Lem Puffs, Chicken Checkers, and Raisin Brisket. Now let's go back to the hospital and see how little Julie is doing now.
Well, Julie, Mr. Landers, I've gone over my charts and your vitals look great. You're ready to go home.
Yeah!
Will you promise me you'll eat right?
We're taking your advice, Doctor. Pork flakes will be on our breakfast table every morning.
I love pork flakes. They're delicious.
Thank you, Doctor.
Don't thank me. Thank Pork Flakes.
From meals on the fly to gourmet pot pie, our qualities. Sterling, purveyors of premium foods.
Kids, want your very own Eddie Abel Private Eye decoder ring? Start collecting Pork Flakes box tops and tune in for next week's Sterling Radio Showcase for details.
And now, space adventurers, put on your hyper helmets and set your plasma blasters for excitement. It's time for episode 16 of Lance Proton and the Space Battalion of Justice. When we last left our intrepid battalion of 3, Captain Lance Proton, Dr. Sandra Chase, and Professor Hieronymus Bergenstein, they had narrowly escaped the radioactive clutches of the gigantic magnetic space emus set upon them by an unknown assailant. Still marooned on the mysterious planetoid X, they only had 24 hours to find rare element temenosium, the only substance that will stop the planetary core of Alpha Beta Epsilon 92 from going nova and destroying its peaceful vegetarian inhabitants. We now rejoin our heroes lost in the catacombs of Planetary X for episode 16, Lost in the Catacombs of Planetary X.
Gosh, Lance, how did you know that the emus would be repelled by recalibrating the alarm on your Star Commander watch?
Sandy, everyone knows emus can't tell time.
Oh, Lance, you're so brave. Hold me.
This reminds me of a lecture I gave once on the magnetic polarity of hurt animals Frequently, people misunderstand it well. Generally, herds have both a north and south polarity, and that such a diametrically opposed configuration will invariably result in the...
Suddenly, our intrepid trio stumbles across a much-needed supply of star rations.
Look, team, a much-needed supply of star rations.
Wunderbar, we have not eaten in weeks!
Oh, Lance, you're so clever. Hold me.
Whoa. Put your thrusters on standby, team. Let's think about this. Isn't it somewhat suspicious that we find exactly what we need in the depths of an uncharted planetoid? I smell a trap, and my nose never lets me down. To be safe, we'd better not touch it.
One watercracker wouldn't hurt.
Sandy, no!
Don't cough!
Suddenly, with a horrific grinding of gears, a sinister apparatus is activated, opening a trap door, sucking them into an inky void of peril.
Oh no, this apparatus, it sucks.
When our stalwart companions awake, they find themselves in a futuristic gladiatorial arena.
Where are we?
It looks like some kind of futuristic gladiatorial arena.
Oh, Lance, you're so observant. Hold me.
You know, actually, the ancient Roman Colosseums were quite modern for their time. I believe it was Caesar Augustus who first designed elevators for the games. This approach using levers, pulleys, and counterweights was first utilized in the catapults. Earlier...
Suddenly, a familiar figure and his craven lackey levitate downwards on a gravity disc. Our triad of space justice recoil in horrified recognition of his maniacal giddy laughter of pure evil. Pure evil.
At last I have you where I want you, Lance Proton, at my mercy. And as you know, I have none.
Good one, Master.
Silence, Chet.
Ow!
Boltar the Unpredictable and Chet. I should have sensed your distinctive pattern of randomness when we found the intergalactic stealth bomb strapped to the hypo-turbo engine core of our rocket ship, the Vanguard. We were lucky to survive crash landing on this filthy hunk of rock.
Oh, Lance, you're so technical. Hold me.
Technical schmechnical. You'll all be dead in just moments, for I have devised a plan so evil, so devious, so utterly inspired that you'll never see it coming. Isn't that right, my faithful minion?
Yes, Master. Should I shoot them with the laser now?
Silence, Dolt!
Ow!
That's just what they're expecting.
Sorry, Master. You obviously wish me to pour the vat of incredibly toxic poisonous acid on them.
No, you empty-headed, sycophantic excuse for a henchman. That doesn't fall into my unpredictable motif.
Ow! I knew you were going to hit me. Ah, sorry, Master.
What's it to be, fiend? Are you going to unleash your horde of zombie vampire mole bats who will suck our souls, turning us into your undead legion of the damned?
Wrong, you no-necked, over-chinned hunk of space meat. Too obvious.
No, Lance, I believe he will subject us to the deadly yet aromatic spores of the mutated fungal clusters found in the forbidden radioactive fields of East Weehawken, New Jersey. I know, because I grew up in the little Heidelberg section of Jersey. Oh, as a boy, I would make potpourri of them, taking care to neutralize the spores' lethal effects. My mother loved them. She was a heavy-set woman, but still had a delicate sensibility and was able to appreciate the finer things in life. I'm rambling, aren't I?
Yes, you long-winded, over-redundant, sausage-loving kraut!
Kraut? I'm from Jersey. No one listens to me.
Mr. Blotar?
Yes, the vacant-eyed chippy with a bad dye job in the back.
Well, I was just wondering if your master plan was to subject us to the stereophonic multi-octave death tones of the Celtic space pipes of Edinburgh 8. You know, the ones that will make our ears bleed until the empty husks that were once our bodies lay motionless in a pool of our own bodily fluids?
No, that's not what I was going to do at all.
Master, it seems you've dropped something. It looks like a stereophonic multi-octave Celtic space pipe from Edinburgh 8. You know, the ones whose death tones will make its victims' ears bleed until the empty husks that were once bodies lay motionless in a pool of bodily fluids? Ow!
Oh, goody, I was right. Do I get a prize? Lance, hold me.
Yes, and your prize will be death. Because all of us evil space dictators have a plan B, which is...
Just what is plan B?
It's evil and unpredictable.
And will Chet ever win his master's approval?
Probably not. Ow!
Will Sandy get the water crackers that she was craving?
Oh, Lance, I'm so hungry. Hold me.
Will Lance ever hold Sandy?
Probably not. Ow!
And will the professor ever stop talking?
See, I don't always have to be talking. Sometimes I talk, sometimes I'm quiet, just because I like to explain things and share the incredible amounts of information at my disposal doesn't mean I'm not aware that there are times when such an overabundance... I'm doing it again, aren't I? Ow! My cerebellum!
So tune in to next week for the answers to these questions and many others in episode 17 of Lance Proton and the Space Battalion of Justice.
While not everyone can span the galaxy like our intrepid heroes of the Battalion of Justice, Sterling Family Products can bring the technology of the future to your home today. With us in the studio today are the Gilsons from the coastal village of Tuxepaw Reach, Massachusetts, to speak to you about Silican, the lubricant power of silicone in a can. Here's the head of the family, Ray Gilson.
I'm a fourth-generation fisherman with an industry to maintain and a family to support. When I drop my nets into the salty brine, I can't let a rusty winch slow me down. That's when I reach for Silican. Just a couple of shots does her, and pretty soon she's hoisting a full net of cod. That's the kind of lubrication that only Silican provides. Thanks, Silican.
And now here's Ray's better half, Marjorie.
I never thought a product my husband uses on his fishing rig would be so useful around the home. I was at my wit's end when the doors, drawers, and cabinets in our house started sticking because a nearby sinkhole was doing a number on our foundation. But a little well-placed silicone has taken care of that problem. Now my drawers just fall open. It also works great on clogged pipes, which is very important when you have one bathroom for 5 boys. And though we can't afford non-stick pans, a little silicone in the pan before frying makes dish cleanup a snap. Thanks, silicone.
Now here's a plucky youngster, the Gilsons' youngest, 6-year-old Billy.
The doctor said I need braces for my legs. Daddy can't afford new ones, and the salt water makes my old metal braces rusty and stiff. But now, Mommy sprays my braces each morning with silicone, and I can almost run and play like my older brothers. Someday I'll need a wheelchair, but until then, I have silicone. Thanks, silicone.
And thank you, Gilsons. You've been great supporters coming on our show. Would you like a chance for your family to appear on the Sterling Radio Showcase? Just write 50 words or less on how much you like Sterling products and send it to Showcase Testimonials, Sterling Family Products Incorporated, 1234 Commercial Avenue, Little Valley, New York, 14755.
From rowing your oars to sliding your drawers, our qualities. Sterling.
Producers of quality industrial chemicals.
We have a special treat tonight on the Sterling Radio Showcase. A young lady from Peoria will be making her singing debut, joining Jimmy Hancock and the Sterling Radio Orchestra and singing the sentimental favorite, I Cannot Leave What I Should Live Without, is Miss Barbara Jean Burroughs.
The first few months were bliss, but now it's led to this, and neither of us has the strength to go. So
my head aches when you speak. You cringe when I kiss your cheek. Though you drive me to drink, I won't stop to think. I cannot leave what I should live without.
you sleep so we won't have to talk. Your smell makes my stomach balk. Though you cheat night and day, I'll blame myself in some way. I cannot leave what I should live without.
Our sweet familiar misery
has kept
you here with me.
We'll stay. this way begrudgingly, 'cause changing would be far too scary. I know you no longer care, but I can't not have you there.
We can't say goodnight and not get into a fight.
We both really knew it would be better to go.
It may rain hell from above,
but we'll say we're in love.
I cannot live what I should live without.
No, I cannot live what I should live without.
We now return to Kansas City and Eddie Abel Private Eye as we continue No Restroom for the Wicked.
Well, I said to myself, you've done it this time, Abel. Even if you don't die, it could be days before you're found. And think of the horrible ways you could die. Fall and drown in the river. Fall and miss the river, being crushed by the rocky bank. Rubber burns. I probably won't even make the front page news. Who will pay the rent? How will I ever clear my name? Who will take Marion to the zoo?
I could always go with my mother.
Angel Cakes, is that you?
It's me, Eddie. Are you all right?
Well, I'm hanging like a pair of dice on a rear-view mirror of a fair lane, and I've lost the feeling in my clavicle, and if someone doesn't help me soon, I'm going to pollute the river in more ways than one. But I'll live.
Hang on, Eddie.
Thanks, Sugar Puss. That was a close shave.
Eddie, how did you get into such a horrible position?
I wish I could tell you, but I was unconscious the whole time. How did you find me?
I heard word on the street there was a square in the Shays Lounge. I thought it might be you. I know how you feel about beatniks, so I went there to soothe you. By the way, Andante and Allegro say, "How's your mind, Daddy-o?"
What nice guys.
Eddie, you gotta scram. The cops are all over the factory. I'll create a diversion. Should I do the dance of 7 veils on the lieutenant's forehead or light a fire in the latex vat on the factory floor?
You crazy cockeyed kid. Look, I appreciate the rescue, but when are you going to realize that you're not on the farm anymore?
Actually, I just came from the farm.
This dirty business ain't for saints and angels like you.
Mom and Dad said to say hi.
I'll be the ruin of you.
Do you want chicken this Sunday or a roast?
Well, if it ain't Bonnie and Clyde, Hitler and Ava, Laurel and Hardy. Abel, you're going to have to talk fast to get yourself out of this jam.
Why, Lieutenant? Is it illegal to hang precariously by a rope of rubber bands over a cliff? You're becoming a real broken record. You know that? What's with all the attitude anyway? Did you tell someone to hoist the red, white, and blue and they gave you a wedgie instead?
Hey, very funny, Abel. The fez was found dead in Andrew's office, and we've got your prints all over the place.
Sure, I killed him. Then I hit myself over the head, tied myself with rubber bands, and hung myself over a cliff.
Okay, so I haven't worked out all the details, but I've got enough circumstantial evidence to get a warrant for your arrest.
He's just escaped death by the skin of his teeth. Can't you at least be polite?
Well, little Miss Alibi, it might be time for you to head home to the chicken.
It's not alibi. It's Nakrim Bujaran shit. Marry Nakrim Bujaran shit. You don't have to be condescending.
Actually, miss, it's in the job description. Now scram!
Good night, Lieutenant. Call me Eddie.
Why should I call you Eddie?
Sure, Toots. Later. All right, Willing, it's your nickel. What's the call?
A confession might be nice.
I'm not a bird, and I don't sing.
Then try on this leotard and dance in it. You've been found at 2 murder scenes in 1 day. On top of that, we've searched Andrew's office. Someone's been using that office to make book, and according to the ledgers, you're a bigger loser than the Edsel.
That story's marked lousy. How long have you known me? I've never been a gambler. Doesn't all this seem like a remarkable coincidence?
Someone else might call it a coincidence. I call it not doing your dishes, short-sheeting your own bed, counting your chickens while they're still in one basket with a pig and a poke.
Well, you might call it that.
Don't get smart with me, Dick.
That's private, Dick, to you.
Here's what's coming over the public address system. I figure it'll take 24 hours to get an arrest warrant. If you're really innocent, I suggest you use your time wisely.
Time was, you used to owe me a favor. Remember? When I pulled your fat out of the fryer? I saved your life during the war, Frank, and you owe me. Remember?
I remember you hauling me half-dressed out of a Belgian bordello.
That's right. She had the clap.
All right. I suppose I owe you one. What can I do within the bounds of the law?
I gotta talk to the head honcho, the big cheese. The El Primo Jefe Numero Uno Presidente. Come on, Lieutenant. Who is the fez working for?
Well, I suppose I can spring a little leak.
Oh, crud. Don't remind me.
Apart from cigarette butts, the office was pretty clean. Whoever the fez worked for didn't leave much of a trail. But one of my uniforms caught a scent under the smoke. Gumbo. Yeah, gumbo, étouffée, and dirty rice. That's all I can say, Eddie, within the bounds of the law.
Thank you, Frank. That just might fit the suit. I tried to catch a bus back to my office, but my transfer had expired when I was out cold. Just my luck. By the time I got there, it was dawn, and the morning haze cast a dull, funereal light into my dank coffin of an office, which only served to remind me I still needed to shake the dew off the lily. I peered through the aching veil of my severe head trauma and realized I'd been ransacked. My files were stolen. My correcto tape nicked. My framed diploma filched. Who could have done this?
Eddie, I came as soon as I heard about the factory and, oh my, where's your diploma?
Wish I knew, honey cheeks. I just got here myself.
Yes, and I also just arrived.
Don't worry, Mama Longlegs. I know what you're thinking. But Eddie Abel ain't off this case yet. I got a better lead than Secretariat and the second at Saratoga. The lieutenant cut me wise. Andrews' office reeked of blackened redfish. There's only one man in Kansas City with enough muscle to lean on a big boy like Daddy Andrews and leave a trail of cayenne a mile wide. Benny the Swamp Rat, La Palouse. I have to take a little trip to Little Louisiana.
Oh, Eddie, please be careful. The Swamp Rat is a dangerous man who has a virtual army in the Cajun Quarter at 1435 Avery Avenue next door to the Voodoo Shop. He's built a network of crime and villainy using New Iberia Incorporated as a front. He's infamous for running liquor and counterfeit green cards as well as gambling rackets. He's broken more knees than you'll find in a swamp full of cypress.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, Eddie, you're so manly, so strong, so brave to march right up to that mud-bug-eating freak and give him what for at the end of a gun.
Actually, Love Buns, I'm not packing heat.
Would you like to borrow mine?
A pearl-handled .45 with a paisley holster. You're my kind of dame.
Oh, Eddie, be careful.
As her ruby red lips played a merengue on my mouth, I couldn't help thinking, did I have enough change for the bus to the Cajun Quarter? As she'd left the office, I watched parts of her suede that just a moment ago were in my hands. Boy, that was one distracting broad. I made my weary way to the offices of New Iberia Incorporated, wishing the city bus had an onboard water closet, or at least a bedpan. Benny's place was exactly where Olivia said it was, dingy as yesterday's dingy stuff. But as I broke and entered, slipping past a sleeping thug, the shabby facade gave way to swanky digs. I caught the scent of chicory and boudin and followed my nose to the dining room. I kicked open the door, and there was the Swamp Rat in all his glory, fork in hand, bib and collar.
Who that walking on in here now?
I'm here to see Benny the Swamp Rat.
Who's asking?
I got a bone to pick with you, Swamp Rat.
I hope you done got yourself an appointment.
Don't play Cupid doll with me, you frog-gigging mafioso. I got the red beans and rice on you.
I'm so sorry. I haven't had the pleasure of an introduction.
Want to play smart, Swamp Gas?
That's Swamp Rat. And you are now? Hey, what you do with my jambalaya?
Sing for me, Swamp Basin. Tell me why you're setting me up.
Swamp Rat, I hope you plan on cleaning up that mess.
Don't threaten me. Talk fast or you're going to be up the bayou for a long raft ride, Marshmallow.
Now that's just plain rude. That rude gonna stain.
Now look, don't give me any of your colorful Creole patter.
I ain't Creole. I'm Cajun French.
On both sides?
Man, no. My mom was Scotch-Irish.
I know all about your game. You killed Andrews to cover up your gambling operation. You found me there and decided to frame me for the toe tag. You sent the fez to take me out when I was nosing around the factory and killed him too, when it got messy, setting me up to swallow the cheese for that job. Then you stole my diploma, you rat bastard!
That's Swamp Rat. And me, I still don't know who you is.
I'm Eddie. Eddie Abel. Private Eye.
Oh, you Eddie Abel. You the detective fella what owes me some monies. You got a funny way of paying up. Now you owes me a meal.
You set me up for a lousy gambling debt?
No. How I get my money if you belly up in the slammer? Now, if you don't set that plate of beignets down right gentle-like, maybe we have a problem.
You didn't try to have me killed?
No, Sheriff. At least not so as I can recollect. So when might I expect a payment on your ever-increasing debt? Compound interest is a killer.
What debt? I don't play the ponies.
You tell me some other Eddie Abel running around owing monies to me?
Yes?
Now, that is about the most interesting thing I heard so far.
This ain't no ball of yarn, kitty cat. I don't knit tales like that.
If you was pretty as a picture, I'd say you was being framed. But my books say Eddie Abel owes me some cash. And Eddie Abel, he's gonna pay.
I gave him everything I had. $14.75. There went my bus fare home. I asked if I could see the little henchman's room. Benny told me to use the outhouse in the alley. That stinking hole was smellier than a Frenchman's gym locker. I decided to take a rain check and walk home. I couldn't figure it. Why would anybody use my name to run up a gambling debt and then frame me for double murder? Well, whoever it was, whatever they wanted, they were off my Christmas card list. I wondered what my mysterious malefactor had in store for me next. Where would this twisted tale of tangled torture take me? I arrived at my office to find Marion tied to a chair with a pair of nylons. Hold on, sesame buns. I'll cut you loose with my scissors. Oh, wait. They were stolen. A well-tied sheep shank was the last thing I saw. The world went red, and I awoke to the feeling of blood trickling down the back of my neck like a clear mountain stream. Then I heard Marion.
Eddie, can you hear me? Are you all right?
Well, Corn Muffin, I got a collection of bumps a blind man could find in the dark.
What?
Sorry, I'm a little dazed, but I'll live. How'd you get in this mess?
I did some digging, and I found out that a woman had been making bets in your name with Swamp Rat's bookies. I came to tell you were being set up.
You crazy cockeyed kid. You've got yourself in it this time. When are you gonna learn you ain't shucking corn anymore?
Actually, since business was slow, I've been moonlighting as a corn shucker at Ben's Chili Bowl.
Take the bus back to Dairyland before you get hurt.
Ben says there's a job for you at the grill if you need it.
You'll get us both killed.
The pay ain't bad, Eddie. Think about it.
That's enough small talk.
Olivia, you, but why?
You were the first in the phone book, Eddie.
Seems a little spiteful and random, really. I can't help what my last name is. My dad's Scotch-Irish.
Shut up and listen. Let me tell you about a little boy with broken dreams, a kid who wanted nothing more in the world than to grow up and be a private eye in Kansas City.
Is this my story? Because I know it.
Shut up. He studied hard. Criminology, self-defense, typing. He fought tooth and nail with his disapproving dad who wanted him to go into the family business instead. But his dreams were almost realized. He opened his own office with money he earned through hard, back-breaking labor.
Am I supposed to know this guy?
Shut up! But at last his dreams were dashed, for in Kansas City, nobody looking for a private dick looks any further than the first name in the phone listings.
Hey, that's my name.
That's right, bright boy. And so you had to be taken out of the picture. In order for young Detective Oliver Andrews to fulfill his dream, Eddie Abel had to be taken off the list.
Oliver Andrews? You mean this guy is your brother?
Actually, Eddie, it's me. You see?
I'm really a man.
Oh, God.
Yes, Eddie. I'm a pretty good kisser, aren't I?
Eddie, you didn't.
Oh, God.
Yes, he sure did. He danced a tongue tango on my tonsils. Not my proudest moment, but it was worth it. I wasn't gonna let a low-rent loser steal my thunder just because of some alphabetical accident. So I racked up a gambling debt in your name, hoping the swamp rat would take it out of your hide. Meanwhile, I dressed up like a dame, killed my daddy, who always wanted a girl anyway, and set you up to take the fall. When that didn't work, I hired the feds to clean your convection oven. When that didn't work, I killed him and tried to frame you for that too. But once again, the cops couldn't make a case. I was getting desperate. I sent you running over to the swamp rat in the hope you'd do something stupid. My luck failed me again. I thought about killing you myself, but that would be too easy. No, I have a better idea. Marion is going to do it.
What?
Never.
Sure you will, Chickie. The cops will find you both dead and you'll be holding the gun that did it.
You fiend.
You'll never get away with this, Olivia.
Oliver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Prepare to meet your maker, Eddie Abel.
Hey, you in the dress, drop the gun.
Can you believe my luck?
Lieutenant, how'd you know I was in a fix?
Marion called us.
I dialed the phone with my nose while you were unconscious.
Thanks a load, Frank. You sure pulled my T-bone from the broiler.
I guess you owe me one now, Eddie.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Oh, Eddie, I thought we were goners.
I'm sorry for accusing you of murder, Eddie. It's just that I really hate you.
I understand completely.
Here, let me untie you both.
Well, let me buy you dinner, Willing. It's the least I can do.
All right, Abel. I could use a little chow.
Let's go to Ben's Chili Bowl. It's almost time for my shift anyway. Are you ready, willing and able?
I told myself I was going to flatten the next person that flipped that pun at me. But that crazy cockeyed kid gave me a doe-eyed look that could melt lead. I guess I'll keep her. Dinner went great. Willing picked up the check and the chili bowl had a clean public restroom. Maybe things were going too good. I could feel it in my bones. Trouble waited just around the corner.
Join us next time for another case from the files of Eddie Abel, Private Detective. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at the Sterling Radio Showcase. Many thanks to those who helped bring you the finest in family entertainment. Special thanks to the Sterling Jingle Singers, Jimmy Hancock and the Sterling Radio Orchestra, Miss Barbara Jean Burroughs, the cast of the Space Battalion of Justice and No Restroom for the Wicked, our amazing Foley and sound effects artists, and of course you, the studio audience. This is Dale McVell reminding you to join us again next week for the Sterling Radio Showcase, brought to you by the Sterling Family Products Incorporated. Our quality is sterling. The Sterling Radio Showcase has been a Band in Warwick production.